Hello, everybody. We have here an illustrious circle of fellows with high intentions. This is our little introduction to channeling. And my name is Jeremy Anaker. We have some writers in our group that helped me with this book called 1 Degree South of God. And it's a book of transmissions that I channeled to groups of people. And our friend Diane and our friend Kathy Quiche helped put this book together and make it user-friendly for anybody that would like to know more about wisdom. And we also have, if you check out our meetups group, Affinity Group in Madison, Wisconsin, you can find the next channeling experience that you'll be able to experience it online, or if you wanted to come right here in Madison, Wisconsin to this space, you could be in the group. So I'm going to do a little lead into the concept of channeling, and then we'll get to know the other presenters and the full group. So channeling has a long history in all different places in human society, tribal cultures, and various religious traditions used channeling for wisdom and truth. There are channelings out there right now that are very popular. One of them is Abraham Hicks, and that's all about getting in connection with manifesting and attracting the life that you really want. I want to give you the flavor of channeling that I enjoy sort of thinking about. In Tibet, I'll do a little screen share. They have a tradition of using channeling and transmitting wisdom to people that are devoted to wisdom and want to know about enlightenment and how to live in wisdom. So I'm going to play a few moments of this video. You can see the man with the heavy hat. He's being carried along. He's in a trance state, and they're going to take him to the stage, and they're going to set him up to transmit a message to the people that are asking for wisdom. That's just a little visual to draw on. I'm gonna go back to screen share. So I am a person who channels as well. I don't have the heavy helmet and the large groups of people to carry me around. And that channeler was in a profound trance, and I go into trance as well. But there are many styles of channeling where people aren't in full trance, like they're still in the room or they're still in their body and they're just transmitting a message they're getting from another source or a higher plane or a group of high beings. So I think we should open the floor a little bit, because we have a few specialists in the style of transmission that I do. And in fact, our friends Catherine and Diane are more adept at knowing what the transmission is because they sit in and listen to it. And I'm gone. I don't remember when I channel. So I'd like to give the floor to Diane. And what would you say as an introduction to what we're doing here with channeling?
Okay, thank you, Jeremy. one thing I want to say is that Jeremy was not the first channeled master I experienced. So I had a little bit of an idea of some other things. But when I experienced what Jeremy's doing, the wisdom was just on a whole nother level. It was what I was looking for. But what Jeremy does is called full body channeling. What that means is he completely leaves his body, and the masters, and it's actually a group of masters called the Rama Masters, with usually one voice coming through, but it is a group. Excuse me. They somehow take over the operation of Jeremy's body. They've explained this to us over the years. So Jeremy is gone. I mean, literally, it's as if he has died. He's left the body, but there's still, the cord attached. And the Rama masters operate his body. That's what full body channeling is. Some channelers don't fully leave the body, like Edgar Cayce. He just laid on a couch and said, kind of went into a trance and said a lot of things. Or the Cryon channel, he goes into a meditative state, but he doesn't fully leave the body. It's just different forms. In this particular one, I studied with one channeled master. The eyes were open and he walked around on the stage in the woman's body that he came into. And if you didn't know, you would have thought he was a real person that way. The Rama masters do not open their eyes. And this has been consistent from the very beginning. They've explained to us that they do that in order to preserve kind of a separation between themselves and us. And I think that is really for our benefit, because with the other experience I had where the eyes were open, people got into worshiping. They got into, falling in love. And, it's like it was a real person to them because the eyes were open and they were looking at them, and all sorts of ego games would go on. Whereas with Jeremy, that seems to help keep that separation from happening. On the other hand, operate the body, and sometimes they even get up and walk around with the eyes closed, or sometimes they do things like play a drum or something. They don't need the eyes to be open. And one time they explained this to us, and they said, we operate the body from an external standpoint, like imagine them maybe hovering around up there in the ceiling area. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes.
I was saying they operate externally, they don't enter into it. They operate it externally. So they're able to get up, walk around and do stuff without tripping or bumping and they've proved that to us more than a few times, that's how that works. And it keeps the eyes being closed keeps a level of separation between their world and ours that they feel is essential. How's that?
That's really good. And so what Dan is explaining, on my side, I'm in a chair, maybe we're doing a singing bowl or we're all chanting Om, and I feel this amazing peaceful presence kind of come over me and invite me to sort of go into a meditative space. So I can refuse to shift. Because of who I am, I can just go into a peaceful meditative state and sort of be taken away. It's sort of a gift for me and a curse, but it's peaceful. And I go to another plane, another territory, and I have dreamlike experiences somewhere else. And they operate, and I come back usually energized, peaceful, in a timeless, sublime state. So let's change gears a little bit. That was our introduction. There's stuff to say about the content as well. Maybe we can hand the floor to Catherine, our other scribe, our poet. In our book, 1 Degree South of God, throughout the book are little poems inspired by the transmissions, and that is work done by Catherine. Would you like to speak a little bit to this and
Sure.
about the content?
Sure. But first I have to say, I am so grateful to both Jeremy and Diane. I mean, we are so lucky. We are just so incredibly lucky to have Jeremy do this channeling, and for Diane to be so experienced with it. I've stuck with it for so many years because it is so, it's always new, it's always fresh. I always learn something new. I came to it at a point in time when I was really struggling. My husband had been diagnosed with dementia. I was just at loose ends with how I was going to deal with it. And Diane suggested, she was at my place and suggested that it's all an illusion. And that just sort of took my mind to another point where I could sort of focus on that a little bit. And she was talking about channeling. I thought, I'm going to give that a try. Maybe there'll just be some things that can sort of shed a little light on my life. So I started, and I think it was back in 2010. And I just found the channeling to just be so incredibly helpful with my personal life and how I deal with things, and shifting my perspective and getting out of my own little story and looking at the bigger picture. So anyway, how I came to work with the material a little bit is that I just found Rama to be so poetic in the way that he spoke. And so this poem just kind of came through me one day, and I wrote it down, and then I worked with it, and it sort of just evolved from there. And they came really, I feel like they're not my poems. They just came through me really quickly. But so anyway, so I'd like to read a couple poems. Would that be okay? You want to
That
hear?
would be fantastic.
Would that be good?
Yes.
The first one is the very first poem that I ever wrote, and it's called The Lottery. And that night, Rama was talking about how this gift, being in this incarnation at this point in time, is like winning the lottery. We have all won the lottery. And that to me just put a different perspective on life. It's like, oh my goodness, we each have won the lottery, and we should look at life in that way. And it was so, you can all feel like you won the lottery. So it inspired me to write this first poem. The Lottery. For you to pick up a body in this incarnation is indeed like winning the lottery. For you to find this universe, this planet, is indeed like winning the lottery. For you to shoot a blow dart through a small ring and you win is indeed like winning the lottery. For you to not waste your life on unconscious behavior is indeed like winning the lottery. For you to own your gift to the universe is indeed like winning the lottery. For you are on a great quest to know your own divinity, to play your part in this grand game of life. And I still just love reading that poem. It's like, oh my gosh, we should each be happy with what's going on here, because it is incredibly special for us to gain an incarnation. I mean, apparently on the other side, there's a lot of competition to get back here. So you've all won the lottery.